All right, the time is 6:26 p.m. Welcome to the March 3rd regular meeting of the Stoughton School Committee. The meeting is being recorded by SMAC for future broadcasting. Please rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Uh-oh, did I jump the shark here?
Okay.
Give her a chance to get back. But before we begin, I would like to read the Stoughton School Committee operating norms and a major thank you to the art teacher, I believe, who put together the art department who put together our norms in a fabulous infographic poster, hand-drawn, not by AI. So our norms are agree to disagree, assume positive intent, be outcome-driven, be prepared, be respectful, celebrate our wins, the district and each other, challenge the issue, not the person, have fun, manage time wisely, put students first, resolve the issues during the meeting, speak from one's own perspective, and speak with one voice. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? All right, seeing none, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is an update from our student advisory representative.
Alrighty, so some brief updates. So the executive board is continuing to lead a successful popcorn fundraiser at our school, and we've had enough funds to cover 100% of the costs for members to attend a 3-day Massachusetts Association of Student Councils leadership conference in Cape Cod the next 3 days. We have a total of 12 students from the e-board attending that, which is great. The conference in general, it just provides like an opportunity for like different student council members and student leaders across the state to interact, collaborate, gain ideas, and like attend breakout sessions, and they'll interact with keynote speakers, etc. While at the conference, the members are going to take place in a pull or plunge and benefit to demonstrate their commitment and also fundraise, which is great. So there should be a total of 88 students, and we are going to have a lock-in on Friday, March the 20th, with those 88 students in our council. It's going to be from 5 till 10 p.m., and essentially what it is it's like a way for all of our council and all of the grades 9 through 12 to gather and to do bonding experiences, games, treasure hunts. We do like a fun competitive like hunt every year and get into teams with different grades. It's a great way to interact with your council, and we have a date set, which is really exciting. And then we have some brief updates for each of the individual classes. So the class of 2029, which is our freshman class, they've been running concession stands at basketball games specifically, and they have a 3v3 tournament scheduled for basketball as well, which is another fundraiser. And then the class of 28, our sophomores, are working on many fundraisers this year as they're approaching their junior year. It's a pretty big year. As I'm a junior, I know. They've been selling candy bars, bake sales, concessions as well at basketball games, and they did a Chipotle fundraiser, which worked out for them pretty well. And then they're also doing a volleyball tournament. The tournaments have been pretty popular. And then in my class, the juniors, we are doing larger scale fundraising tactics because we have to prepare for a lot of large events, senior sunrise, Oscar night, prom. So we've been doing bake sales at like town spa and like larger like town areas where we can get a lot of people to show up. And we're already looking ahead, looking at prom venues, looking to continue to fundraise for those. We have currently a chocolate fundraiser going on. And then the class of 2026, which is our seniors, they are working on doing a honorary lip dub, which is basically like, for those who don't know, it's like singing to a song, multiple like people singing to a song for her as she will be leaving us this year. and they have their senior shirts going on and a Buddies First Badges basketball game. So there's a lot going on right now, and also we are starting our spring sports tryouts in 2 weeks, I believe. So we're exiting the winter, hopefully taking a step into the spring after this storm. But thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions?
Great stuff.
No, we're really excited. I hope you'll, or the representative will provide a report back on the conference. We've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
Would love to hear what the top 3 ideas or, that they come back with.
Yeah, sure. I'll be sure. Hopefully, I will be attending the next school committee meeting, so I can give you guys an update on everything and how it goes, as well with the lock-in, because we did it last year and the turnout wasn't as large, but we're expecting a larger turnout. Hopefully, it goes well for us. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I will never forget the one from, is it 5 years ago now? It was a super spreader event, so fortunately, that's not happening anymore. Might want to give out little swag like hand sanitizers or something just in case. But yeah, really glad that it's come back and it's gained in popularity, and it should be a really great time. You guys will have fun. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Great. If there are no questions, we'll move on to our presentation from Nicole on what makes the Jones such a phenomenal program.
Yes, hello.
No pressure.
Well, because we are just fantastic. So the Jones is the preschool in Stoughton. We serve, we're an integrated preschool, meaning we serve kids with disabilities and without, our youngest learners, 3 to 5. We currently have just over 120 students attending. We have enrollment throughout the year, having IEP students, so we're constantly changing and evolving in our classrooms. As soon as the kiddos turn 3, through early intervention, they come on over to us. So that makes us a little bit different than the elementary schools, have more of a steady enrollment. We are forever changing. We had 3-4 new kids start just this week. We offer some full-day classrooms for our 4-year-olds, so the year before kindergarten, really to help them to get ready to be a kindergartner in the district. So they work on many of the things, at the preliminary level that they'll be doing in kindergarten. So we do foundations, we do, a morning meeting, we do building routines and building independence to really hopefully get them ready to start their journey in kindergarten. And then for our younger learners, we have half-day programs. So they either can come in the morning session or in the afternoon session. And it's really getting them to learn what school's about, who it is to be outside of your immediate family, learn how to share and become part of a community. And then we do have substantially separate classrooms for our students who are on the autism spectrum or have a little bit higher level of need than what is able to be in an integrated classroom at that time. But our hope is to always, give them lots of opportunities. We really do focus on play-based learning. We focus a lot on our SEL, the social emotional learning. We embed it in everything that we do. So whether it's in morning meeting or in specials or even with our speech therapists, our occupational therapists, is something that we're constantly kind of building with our children. We have started, since I took over, we started a PTO, which has been very exciting. We have support from the parents of our community, and we've been doing, they help support the teachers and getting them things they need for the classrooms, supporting them during Teacher Appreciation Week, but we also do fundraising to help our students and bring our community together at our school. I really felt like it was something that was missing when I took over, so it was really kind of like my thing that I wanted to do to really make our mark. So we do we have a spring fling coming up at the end of this month. We did cookie decorating in December. We had a touch-a-truck where we brought in the DPW. We had the fire department, the police department. We had Walnut Tree here, so it was really a great day, and it gives the kids a chance to interact with other members of our community, which is really nice. We also bring in the Stoughton Public Library comes once a month and reads to our students.
Oh, nice.
And then in June, our oldest students, so our full-day kiddos, we're hoping, we've done it a few times where they've actually gotten to go to the library, and for some of them, it's their first time, so it's really nice to see. And we alternate, so sometimes they come in the morning, sometimes they come in the afternoon, so that all members of the school have that opportunity to be, to listen to the librarians. We also have Stoughton Fire Department comes, they do a lot of fire safety with our kids, bike safety, helmet wearing, all those types of things. We've had from the community, we've also had the sheriff's department and their dog come. That's always a big hit when the animals come. So that's something the kids have always looked forward to. We also have partnered with the Oasis Coalition in town, where they do parent training and workshops. So we have done workshops on setting bedtime routines for parents, toilet training, helping them with how to limit technology in the home. We also have 2 of our staff that they were able to train in positive parenting, and in also in one support sessions. So a parent who is having a struggle can make an appointment with one of those 2 staff members if they want a little more intimate setting, and can work through and talk through some problems that they're having at home or some advice that they're looking for on how to handle certain topics at home. And it's something that we haven't had as much use from the parents as I would like, but it's something we're really going to hopefully really, try and get the word out that this is, a nice support system that they can utilize through our staff. We also have this year, we started at the end of last year, we are in partnership with Conscious Discipline, which is a new training that my staff and myself is going through, and it's basically looking at social emotional learning of students and their growth and promoting a safe, supportive learning environment. And it's really focusing on more of ourselves as the adults and not so much as on the students as to the behavior, but how we react to the behavior and what we can do to help support the student and build relationships and build a school family to hopefully help support them so that some of the behaviors that we've been seeing will decrease. So that's something that we've been working really hard on. We also have some teachers who are getting direct one-to-one coaching from one of the Conscious Discipline trainers. And that's really it. Thank you.
Questions? Armando?
Yes, I don't know if you've had a chance to yet, but I was wondering if you have a wish list.
Oh, always. Air conditioning? Just kidding.
We laugh, but we don't laugh.
Some heat that's not 100 or 50. The more tools we can get for the students, especially outside playground type stuff, especially not so much for now, but where with the new school being built and us moving, the playground is definitely an area that is kind of high on my anxiety level because the playground at the Wilkins is not necessarily preschool appropriate. So that would probably be my big wish list, is to get some sort of a play structure at that school that would be more age appropriate for the littles and safe.
Any things you see that you must have now?
Right now, I'm going to defer to my staff who so kindly came and supported me. I have one of my integrated teachers, I have my team chair for early intervention liaison, and my administrative assistant has come.
Wow.
Do they have names?
Yes, I do.
I know they have titles, but how about names?
And Michelle Wheeler, Christine Carter, and Susan Williams.
I think we always, we go down to the basics of glue sticks.
Glue sticks.
And that's not that the district doesn't have them, we just go through a lot
Colored
of those kinds
paper.
of things. There's that type of wish list items,
Yeah.
and then I think big wish list items, like another speech therapist. There's the variety of things you could, smoother registration process for our families coming in from early intervention. That has been my job this year, and I spend more time talking about registration than I ever expected when I took this role. So I think there are so many items that I don't know, but I mean, glue sticks would be good. Crayons, Play-Doh, if you really want to get into it, right?
Shaving cream.
School adjustment counselor.
Yeah, if you say big items, little items, what do you want to know?
I mean, I think, I don't know, I mean,
You're in the classroom.
I'm in the classroom and I have a lot of my own stuff, just,
Yeah.
you know, like, that I brought from another district that I worked in, and, so like, I don't want any more stuff other than glue
Well,
sticks
yeah.
because I have nowhere to put
No
it.
space, yeah.
Storage, that's what I would like.
Storage.
I would like some storage.
I think gross motor equipment is a huge piece for our kids. They need to move. And we have a downstairs space now that's been really great, that we've been able to kind of piecemeal together with things that we've had over the years. And there's been a few things purchased, which has been great. But I think movement for our kids, the regulation is a big deal with this age group. And yeah, they need to move. And the gym's great. We have a huge gym, but they can only put, even though they're little, we can only do so many kids in the gym at one time, and especially during indoor recess for the last 6 months. So I think movement things, gross motor equipment, those things are definitely a big one for our Nuggets. Yeah.
But I'd
Yeah.
be interested in actually, when you have some time to think
Yeah.
about this and create a list,
Yeah.
what will benefit the kids most
Yeah.
to a nice to have.
Okay. We could do that.
We can do like a survey with the teachers and
Yeah,
stuff
we
and
could
come up with
definitely
something.
do that. We'll make a list. It's a wish list, right? It's a wish. No, we have, I mean, again, over the years, we've definitely got a lot of great things that happened at the Jones. I've been there for 15 years, but yeah, there's always things, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of attention on the new elementary school building, and not a lot of attention on the potential move of the program over to the Wilkins.
Yeah.
Anything you would like us to be aware of as we are moving forward with our planning that would make for a better transition and ensure that the move to the Wilkins is really positive for the kiddos and for the staff?
I think giving the staff a voice. This happened to me when we moved. So the preschool, many of you probably don't know, we used to be at the Doll School. And when the school was closed, when the Jones was closed and it was going to be the preschool, we as the staff were kind of like the preschool was a second thought. So we didn't really have any input. We didn't have any, no one asked what we would need. No one asked what that would mean for us as teachers. We weren't able to tour the building to see what our new classroom would look like. I mean, we went from rooms at the DAR that were huge to, I mean, I can't believe to say this, but smaller rooms at the Jones, and now they're like walk-in closets. But so I think giving staff the opportunity to see where they're going to be moving, having some input, what we will need in order to make it a preschool-friendly space for them, where it's been an elementary school. That was one of the things that I think kind of got lost in our move here originally, was it was not meant for preschool, it was meant for elementary school. And there's a difference between a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old on a playground. So I think having those conversations and being able to have the input, and be able to see the space and how can we make it preschool user-friendly.
Would it be too much of an ask if we were able to arrange a guided tour of the Wilkins, for example, for you to maybe using, staff meeting time or whatever would make sense to kind of put together? I think about the educational plan that we use as the basis for the new elementary school building.
Yes.
If there would be like a much more abbreviated version of that, but like a transition plan, like an ideal transition plan that's rooted in education theory and the needs of the students. If you could put that together and then maybe meet with us again to walk us through that, I think that would be very helpful as we think about planning and transitioning going forward.
Perfect, thank you.
So, I love it when timing comes together. The
The
superintendent.
tour is set for tomorrow.
The superintendent-elect and I meet every other week, so for the sole purposes transition planning. And this was a topic yesterday at our Monday meeting. So we are planning this spring. It's going to have to, we have to do it when there's no kids in the building.
Right.
So that's a negative, but We're going to invite the entire crew from the JCS, along with our facilities department, superintendent-elect, myself, all the school committee members want to come, happy to have you. And the idea is to walk it, because that building's going to be potentially central office and the preschool.
Yeah.
And we just, yesterday's, honest to goodness, we actually spoke about a new playground and where would it go, right? And how do we do that? We talked about the funding for this and where's it coming from, right? When central office was done last time, that actually came from the high school building project, stuff like that. So we will definitely have a date to invite everybody. I just wrote myself a note to make sure that I'll invite the school committee as well. It doesn't have to be a posted meeting. You're not deliberating, you're not discussing, you're just viewing. It should be either an early release day where I can get you guys over there, you can get over there, or it should be a day that after school when the kids aren't there, simply because you want to be able to really look at those, at the sites. Where would the drop-off be, the pickup? The idea is to put together a draft, right? So that as you're getting closer to fiscal year, so FY 28 right away, so this time next year, you need to talk about articles if you're going to need to expend some money.
Right.
Because that money doesn't get expended until after July 1st, and if that building's going to open for 28, we also have a heating ventilation project, $2.7 million going on in that building.
Done.
And so it's $3 million shy, and we're going after another grant, but if not, that building will have HVAC and cooling. They're actually putting 2 systems in every classroom, because for the offices, we might have to split classrooms. But the idea is there wouldn't be a single classroom there that the Wilkins would have to split in order for you folks to have a classroom that I would consider the size of what you need, which is a reasonable size, and a working cafeteria, and because hot lunches, hot breakfast is something we need to think about with these kiddos. And then the last part is the cafetorium, which is huge, much bigger than this place is here. And it's not huge, but it's much bigger than the Jones. So yes, we are underway. We will make sure you're invited. If we have to do multiple days of after schools because of people's schedules, we're happy to do that. And if we can sneak it in during a half day, I'd be happy to do that too. Okay? And I'll report back, and I'll invite the committee, but we'll also report back so that you get that draft of what's starting to happen, so that there's more talk going on about it.
But I would love to have your thoughts kind of codified into a document that you can share with us and walk us through, like, what the priorities are.
I love a list.
You put check boxes next to it too, if you like.
That's color coded.
Right, yeah, but that'll help us plan not only for the budget, but also for the capital items, and then it'll also put on our radar, there might be grants out there that we might be able to deploy for some of these things, so if we know in advance, now is the time to have these conversations. So the last thing I wanted to bring up as a complete surprise to the superintendent is one of the things that I noted in another district that had career and tech ed programming and early childhood education. The students would have, of course, their instruction, but then they were able to go off early from the school day, and we're talking about that with the new Bell schedule, to do an internship or a co-op. And they would place students in the elementary school or in the daycare on site. A lot of the vocational schools do this. So I wondered if this might be something of interest to the school, and no pressure at all. He's not even aware of it. I don't even know if it's feasible for us to have an ECE program, but there's still a lot of demand, and when you think about the specialty areas, for example, it could be really helpful in determining career pathways for some of our students. And it might also be helpful, given that the students represent the community, know the languages, know the culture and the background, and they might be really helpful liaisons for the teaching staff with the parents. So I just wanted to just toss that bomb in the middle of the room. And
No, that's something
see
that
what
we've
happens.
talked about, especially Christine and I have talked about for years. And
Okay.
I'm wishing there was something that we could, I do have next week a high schooler starting, it's just one day a week. She's doing I think it's 3 hours a day at the preschool. She's a senior, she's going to school to Bridgewater next year to become a teacher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to have more dialogue and conversations about that. It's something we've talked about for quite a few years.
I think too that if we don't do, if you don't get a traditional career tech, vocational technical education, it's to look at the CTE model, which is the career tech ed. It doesn't have the vocational component because you're not getting grant money, you're not getting certain things. But what it does is you got to look at high school beyond the walls. And until we don't have that discussion, these things can't happen. In other words, if you got students that are doing well in school and they're thinking about becoming a teacher, preschool or otherwise, and they really want to be with kids, we got to get them out of the high school, and it's not one period a day. It's got to be, so if you're a senior and April comes, Red Rover, come over. Let's start working over it. Let's get over here. We could use you every single day, and we could probably even come up with a compensation plan, to be quite honest, considering that,
Yeah, we get kids
So-
every single week, new
Yeah.
kids are coming
Because they
in.
turn 3 and they have to come, so we're always getting new kids. Even for the last 2 weeks of school, they come, because that's their right,
Right.
to attend, so.
great ideas. I just wanted to, I did want to make one quick statement, because I've been here for 3 years now. This is a very viable Jones preschool program. I would say always been viable, but more viable today than it's ever been, for a number of different reasons. Number one, I think, is leadership. Number two, I think it's the teachers who go above and beyond, and I know this because I've actually put on my khakis and my sneakers and been a para. And Jones always wants to see me rolling around for whatever reason. I am going to seek you guys out again before I leave, because I enjoy the day, and they put me to work. They literally do, and I love it.
You're exhausted.
I usually take a half day. But I do think that it's been, for a number of years, I think it was put to the side. And I think it's time, to your point, I think if we're going to do this right as part of a transition to the Wilkins, let's look at an educational plan and let's write it,
Yeah.
right? There's no better writing in the room than the guy right over there. And the educational plan is really looking at your facilities and what you want to do for the next 10 years. What does it look like, right? What are the ideas that you have? And you're walking into a facility that gives you tremendous more opportunities than this building would ever give you. So I wrote that down too.
And
as
an
the next
opportunity
step.
to make it your own as well. It's not just inheriting a space, make do, we can transition you into that space.
And it will take time. It takes time to
Yep.
do that. It's not a one-year turnaround.
Right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a new business item around presentation on the Student Opportunity Act. Mr. Ford?
Oh, I didn't prepare a presentation,
Oh,
but I
sock
would like
puppets
to,
then?
but I would like to just bring you up to speed.
Yes.
As you know, the Stoughton Public Schools through Chapter 70 has been the benefit of Student Opportunity Act funds, roughly about $2 million a year.
Yep.
The district receives an increased Chapter 70 support. Now, this funding wasn't without strings being attached. Obviously, it wasn't to supplant what we're currently doing. It was to require the district to implement programs that we identified as being most beneficial for this district, and then they were going to fund them for 3 years, and then we're going to see what happens after the end of the 3 years. But we did receive the funding, and last year we put into effect our plan, and we had picked 3 focus areas and then 6 evidence-based practices we're putting in place, mostly centered around instructional coaching. But we're at the point right now where I'm going to start drafting the report to the state, so we have to do an annual report. So I thought I would put together an update for you to let you know where we're at, because I had collected the vast majority of the data anyway. So if we look at it in aggregate, basically we've done everything we're supposed to do, everything we've committed to doing. And I'll just give you an example. We committed to hiring 10 instructional coaches, and that's where the predominant half the money flows in terms of what we're awarded under the SOA. And last year we did in fact hire the 10 coaches at Stoughton elementary schools. We spent the time last year training all of them. We have a organization that we utilize. They did training throughout the year. We have a curriculum specialist, Ms. Sprague, who meets with them on I think, a monthly basis to go through what we're doing. We were building them out. We're integrating with the principals. We provided the principals training. This year we actually implemented fully. So that's a more structured approach, but it's fully in place. And if you look at everything else that we said we're going to do, and I know I included the initial plan summary that we submitted to the school committee 2.5 years ago. Pretty much we've done everything we said we're going to do. There are some things which we've limited because, you know, it is expensive and we have something about budgetary crunch. So for instance, whereas we put in two SCI coaches, social sheltered and immersion coaches. We hired one. We trained one. That one position's in place. It puts us in a good position where we have expertise in that particular area, which might be a little different from instructional coaching. So we have the capacity to build out the second position quickly, but you know, we didn't quite have the financial capacity to do it. In other areas, we're looking at extended school year programs, which we did not utilize these funds for, but we went back and we restructured our Title I, our Title III, the 180 grant, and the 186 grant to provide the services that we had targeted anyway, just through some tweaking and then going out after some additional grant funding. So although it's embedded in this plan, we didn't fund out of this plan, but we still did it and met the requirements of the plan. So I gave it to you in writing, so you can take a look at it. If you want to fire off any questions to me, you obviously can. If you want to schedule a meeting with me to go through and find details, we can do that. I just want to let you know that this is where we currently stand. This is what we said we're going to do. I'm going to submit the report to the state. And I think we're in a really good place. So I don't know if you wanted to follow up with questions or anybody wanted to schedule a meeting with me, I'm absolutely available.
Armando?
A quick question. I was wondering if you could just remind us again on what reporting, what's necessary to document any SOA funds and so on.
So we're going to report back exactly what we did. So they're going to ask us to talk about the programs we implemented, and we're going to follow through and say we implemented everything here. We're going to let them know what we didn't fund. All right. For us, because the primary piece, well, there's two main pieces that are funded. One is the school counselors at the elementary level and the instructional coaches. This is a very easy report plan to report on because those are two big chunks of funding. And it's very easy to gauge what we've done. And what we said we were going to do, we've absolutely done all of it and more. So it's very easy. There are some things which we didn't fund. I'm going to report on that and say, although we didn't fund this, we still plan on doing it. We just don't have the capacity because inflation, whatever it might be, or just you get a small crunch in terms of the numbers, and that's fine. They understand that. Other areas we're going to talk about that we implemented without using SOA funds, I'm going to identify what the funding source was. I'm going to talk about the timeline, bringing that online. We're very fortunate in terms of some program adjustments we're already making, coinciding with some challenges in fully implementing this plan, and I'll give you the best example is a shift in Title I towards the intervention component. It actually lines up perfectly with the things we said we were going to do with this that we didn't potentially have the capacity to fund. Also, with Title I, given the increase we've seen in Title I, we did put some extended school year opportunities back in, and we funded some extended school year opportunities out of the 186 grant, which is a newcomer grant. So I'm going to account for all of that. They also talk about things we do in terms of, do we put anything new in terms of parent outreach? We didn't really do anything new, but we do have focus groups running at the LPAC and the CPAC coming up meetings that are going to give us some feedback on what we're doing. And those more or less center on have people seeing the change based on what we're doing. I mean, we can gauge the impact in our classrooms by looking at test scores, but have parents seen increased engagement because, other things we're doing, or because we implemented Character Strong? Are those lessons filtering back to parents? So we're going to see if it's been people in the community and our two main target audiences, which is our immigrant population, the students that are receiving ESL services and special education. So that whole process is running, and I'm just going to report on all of it. They did slip something unusual into the reporting this year. They put in an entire category completely unrelated to the SOA, but I just gave that to Matt and said, please let me know what we're doing, and I'll put that in. But it's the same thing we do every day. They want to ensure the fact that we're doing what we said we're going to do. We're utilizing the funds as we absolutely broke down. This is what we're going to do, and that we're seeing an impact, and we're taking the time to not just see an impact, but gauge how well we're doing and make adjustments. The big thing for them also, when I was looking at the reporting requirements, what are you continuing to do? What are you changing? Is there someplace else you want to implement? Do you want to change one of your focus areas? And there's actually there's a grant that I noticed in the portal in the GEM system right now that specifically is been put in place for districts that want to adjust what they're doing based on the fact they're taking the time to evaluate how well their implementation is going. So if you find that you have a given focus area that you want to pursue, but the evidence-based practice that you identified and that you funded isn't, at this point, you have identified as not being the best route, they'll actually allow you to elicit additional funding to switch that practice and implement something else to accomplish what you initially wanted to do in that focus area. Now, for us, I actually think we're doing really well. We're doing everything we said we're going to do. So I don't know that we have to do that. I don't think we have to do that. But for instance, next year, if we did see we want to make an adjustment into like our coaching model or something else, we could pursue that grant and make an adjustment to the SOA. And that would come out of what we're doing right now in the evaluation and then the reporting back to the state.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions? I would like to say that when I went to do a site visit at the Hanson, and they gave me a tour, I talked to quite a few of the teachers, and they talked consistently about the culture there and how much they all enjoyed teaching there. And I asked the principal to share what the secret sauce was, and she says the instructional coaches.
So they are remarkably positive,
Yeah.
those coaches. I mean, I don't think you could do any better. The other nice piece is we did hire an interventionist under Title I, who's an incredible fit for them. And once again, somebody that we knocked it out of the park with that hire. And it just seems like the people that we brought on board the last couple of years have just been spectacular. Good people, care about kids, hardworking team players. It just seems like everything's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, they definitely work together as thought partners. There's no power dynamic there. The teachers see it as almost like free mentoring and coaching for them. And the instructional coaches felt very welcomed, and that, the teachers were very receptive to what they had to say. It really has been a very powerful partnership, and it's a great model. I'm really glad we had the funds to put that in.
And they're a great example of the coaches being partners.
Yeah.
And there's a misnomer with coaching, because you think coaching is somebody coming in and telling you how to improve. And that's even a risk of calling it coaching, but that's not what it is. It's really having a teacher have somebody come in and say, what do you want to do? How can I help you do it? I'm going to partner with you to do it. Let's see where it goes. I'm here to help you. And in that particular building, that is absolutely the model that they've implemented.
Thank you so much for this information. Moving on to the next agenda item. So I know she's not here, but I did want to thank Ms. Powers for raising the issue of working group versus subcommittee. MASC put something together. They were working on it anyway, and they got a draft to me. That's why you got it late, because I got the draft after the agenda was set for our last meeting. And it provides pretty much in detail that our policy working group is not a working group, but is actually a subcommittee and needs to act accordingly so that we are in compliance with the open meeting law, which means that the meetings will need to be posted with an agenda. The agenda could simply be, homework policy, and that could be the agenda, Minutes can be taken. It's something that if you're not meeting in person and you did it via Zoom or Google Meet, you can use an AI companion to create a summary if you wanted to, so that you can focus more on the discussion and what you're talking about. But we will need to follow open meeting law when it comes to the policy. It is a subcommittee and not a working group. So that's what the very lengthy handout is there that you got today. It was part of the meeting packet, but I don't know if anybody read through the meeting packet that was emailed. I told Kathy she didn't need to hand deliver the handouts. So, but if you, Joe?
Yeah, so I see that the school committee policy BTE, so I guess what I'm suggesting is, should we create that policy to outline what those subcommittees are? Because right now I see policy, I see budget.
Yep.
Potentially facilities.
Yep.
Negotiations is a little quirky because you do not take agendas and minutes. So some people just call it personnel. And what happens is you just don't take agendas and minutes at those. I mean, you could post that you're meeting with them, but you're not, you know.
It's not public.
It's not public.
Yeah.
But all the other ones are public.
Yeah.
So you would have policy, you'd have budget, you'd probably have one on facilities. And I really can't think of any other ones that, you know, that you really need. And even facilities is going to be very limited. Budget and policy are going to be the two that meet the most.
Yeah.
So, just a suggestion.
Yeah. Any questions? No? All right. So Kathy is the support for the school committee meeting and for the school committee as a whole. So if you want to lean on her, she will be the one who would be posting the meetings. You know, you can't do it in Jen's living room, you know, if you're going to make it a public meeting. Or you could, you know, but.
And so that you know, there are a lot of these subcommittees in a lot of districts that have many more that actually do them only virtually.
Yeah.
They're open to the public, but they're only virtual. So,
Yeah.
especially in the winter months.
Yeah. So what I'd like to request is for the next meeting, if you two can get back to us and let us know what your preference is in terms of meetings. Do you want to do them in person or virtual in light of this? It looks like we're already in agreement here, or?
Seems like Jonathan likes the idea of in-person, and I'm fine with either. I can make anything
In-person.
work.
Yeah,
Okay.
in person usually is a better working environment, especially for when you're going back and forth on stuff.
We have not been meeting in my living room, we've been meeting in
Yes, we've been
Jonathan's
meeting in
office.
John's office.
Jonathan's living room?
Actually, one day we met here too, didn't we? Yeah.
You
we
probably
met
have to
here.
switch to
You'll have to switch to here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we just need to solidify the who, what, when, how, why, and a schedule probably of meetings as best as you can, you know, at least a month in advance, so that Kathy has ample notice to post them.
And if you do change the dates, you just need 48
48
hours.
hours.
Notice.
Yeah. Same with the agenda. If something comes up, you need to shift a policy.
So would it be like a standing meeting, and if we have no policies to discuss, we just cancel that meeting?
Cancel the meeting 48 hours before, absolutely.
So like the second Thursday of the month or whatever.
Yep, yep.
So we would need to meet to make a policy, to make a subcommittee.
I would suggest that the policy subcommittee post its first meeting with redoing the policy that says, what are your subcommittees, and that they will have an agenda and minutes and dates to be determined as needed, or, I mean, you can't, you could say, you know, the third Thursday, but then the next thing you know, everything else in town is happening the same day, and that becomes a problem. So you want to, you don't have to stick to a certain day.
Right.
Unless you
No.
want to.
No,
stick.
there are definitely committees at the town level that move their dates around as
Constantly.
needed, you know, by the membership, so.
So I think you need to actually vote to create your subcommittee, and then you need to appoint 2 people to it.
Okay, all right. All right, so can I have a motion to create, thank you for that, a policy subcommittee?
So moved.
All right, so that was, hold on, let me get in the right place. All right, so that was Armando, who made the vote, the motion, rather. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jen Sears. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries 4-0. We now have a policy subcommittee. Do I just appoint members? Okay. All right, so as the chair, I would like to appoint Jillian DeStefano and Jen Sears to be our policy subcommittee members, at least until we do our new assignments in June.
And I'll work with the two of you through Kathy to start that process of how we do it for your first meeting. So I'll just need a date and time. We can start that going.
Should we also make a movement to make a budgeting subcommittee as well while we're here, or is that like something we can wait on?
No, you could do that too, if you wanted to right now.
Might as well just have it,
Yeah.
have it on.
All right.
So I make a movement to create a subcommittee for budgeting.
All right, so I have a motion from
Jillian?
Jillian DeStefano. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Jen. All right, second Jen Sears for Budget Subcommittee. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. And I would like to appoint Jillian DeStefano as our representative on the Budgeting Subcommittee.
Thank you.
At least until June, when we redo our appointments for the school committee. All right, are we good, Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay. Phew. That being said, shall we talk about homework policy, IKB? I think we put that on the agenda as a discussion item because we knew it would be a point of contention. We thought it would give people a chance to come in for public comment. And then if they were still here when we had it on the agenda, it would give them another opportunity to weigh in, but seeing no one here. I didn't know, Armando, if you've had a chance to look at it, if you had any comments or feedback that you wanted to provide Jen and Jillian on the homework policy?
I do not. I just know that there's a perfect policy and you're going to have some controversy. So I just want to let you know you've done a great job. But
All Jen.
you'll get some
Might
feedback.
not want that. Did you send it to the teachers? 'Cause
It-
I
it-
did get
so-
it.
The
Yeah.
We
survey just went out. I got it today.
Yeah.
So we released the survey today. It is section by section.
It is
saying,
very
do you
long.
It is long because we took every section and said, do you agree with this section, yes or no? And then comment if you want to, yes or no. So if this is important, make it important. That's one. Two, we are doing it for our, same thing with our staff. We grouped that into 3 categories, K-5, 6, 8, 9, 12. We did it in 3 languages for our families, Portuguese, Spanish, and French Creole. We are releasing it to our students, but we're taking that down to a smaller level of a survey. In other words, not as long.
6 to 12?
6 to 8, it's being collected as data 6 to 8 and 9 to 12. We're trying to do it, trying to really get the kids involved as much as possible. I'm gonna guess they're gonna say no homework is the priority, but.
That was my daughter's vote when I told her I was making a homework policy.
And then the other thing is, and we know that as of this afternoon, we had over 70 responses already.
Oh,
so-
that's awesome.
Wow.
So we're getting responses.
That's more than I thought there was going to be. That is great.
Complete positive?
Yes. I'm sure it's all, I haven't looked at anything.
Okay.
But, typically, what you get with surveys is you get 2 different views at 20% and 20%, and it's the 60% in the middle that's
Yeah.
going to give you further feedback.
That was my question.
How are we going to be able to see this feedback? Is it going to be sent to
Yep,
us?
yep, you're gonna
Okay.
have it on as an
The grades,
agenda
like-
item.
like the last
We're gonna
thing.
collate it, it'll have it down to the graph, so you can see 72, 32, or 28, or whatever the number would be, plus all that, we're gonna try to collate the comments in some way. Probably be a big document, but, hey,
Worth it.
worth it.
How long is the survey going to be open for?
2 weeks.
2
It's open
weeks.
until a week from Friday.
Excellent. All right, awesome.
And we're gonna continue to just bang it out and say, survey, survey, survey.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I guess for the next part for this, we want to get the survey results back and then discuss those survey results at a meeting and give people another opportunity to speak during that.
Yep, my plan is to leave this as a standing agenda item for at
Excellent.
least the next, 4 to 6 weeks,
Okay.
to allow ample time to get the data in, for us to process the data, to make any recommended changes, provide more opportunities for the public to comment before we make a final move. Yes.
I assume we're hoping that this gets implemented in September, it would go into the student
So in
handbook.
order to do this, I would recommend that we finalize the policy before the close of the school year, because teachers are going to need the summer to prepare accordingly, so that when it is implemented in the fall, they're ready to go.
Dr. Bayette, are you putting this in your weekly letter to remind people of the survey too?
Yes, we
First?
decided
Because
to.
none of us read that.
Yeah, so we released it as a separate item, and then like we do with other surveys, then we just put it into the newsletter.
Which we do read. I always love the pictures. I love that Jeff starts with a picture. Great question, Jillian. Any other questions or comments? Any revisions to the process that I've outlined? Moving on to the middle school pathways exploration. No folks had an opportunity. I know that I reviewed this, and I loved it when I saw it the first time. But any other feedback or discussion items when it comes to the middle school pathways exploration policy?
I think since it's required by the state, I would like to make a movement to pass this policy.
All right, so I have a motion then to approve policy IHBB middle school pathway exploration.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion
Thank
was
you.
made by Jillian.
Oh, it's right there. I should just cite the.
No, that's okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
I figured that was coming. All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Aye?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations. I did have on here the school building property naming process. I would like to table this until we have all 5 members here, if that's okay, unless someone had a strong feeling that they wanted to express now regarding what the naming process is. Yes, Armando.
Actually, I'd just like to make a comment, which I've tried to make at the beginning of this process.
Go for it.
I used to work at Digital Corporation. One of the things we used to have above our door is that through these door passes the world's greatest technologists. I'd love to Stoughton School to have through these door passes the world's greatest teachers and students. For me and for many of the engineers that worked at Digital, when we pass through that door, we always look up and feel good about it. And I think our teachers and students can get some inspiration and feel good about the fact that we think highly of them, and we know they're doing a great job.
Armando, I'd like that, but I think instead of teachers, it should be faculty, so it includes
The staff.
like
Sure.
our custodians and the school nurses and, all the other people that might not be the teachers,
That's fine. There's some wording, some
Yeah.
Be a slogan that you
inspiration.
can put on your sign, and you could actually take that sign and put it in all your schools.
Mhm.
So you're utilizing the new South School as the beginning of that. You'd have to put some money, find it, to do it right, but it's a wonderful slogan.
Mhm.
That would be a great way to get the high school up.
It would.
Program,
and-
yeah,
I mean,
doing
you'd have to
something.
probably get some materials that would have to, a third party would have to do it. Our kids could design it and then give it to a professional to actually finish it. I mean, that's been done before.
Yeah.
Let's remind ourselves of that.
Wasn't a question, but something I'd love to see.
Looks like it's an idea that has been well received by the committee. It feels like a Ted Lasso moment to me, so I want to see them all kind of like tap it when they go in, So Armando, do you have a recommendation for a next step?
No. Actually, I do not.
Send the slogan. Can you send me the slogan? And then just make sure that, we can take a look at the committee eventually.
Okay, I'll send it to you and go from there.
I'm just going to keep it as kind of a rolling thing for the committee to have, and then at some point you're going to have to say, will we do this or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would recommend having this discussion maybe with Ms. Miller here,
Yep.
especially since she currently has some pull with the high school clubs and art department. But it's something that she can then continue to move forward as superintendent.
Will do.
Excellent. And can you CC the rest of the school committee on that?
Sure, please.
Excellent. All right. Thank you all for that. Great idea. And as a discussion item, because it was around policy FF, that's really center, and I think it might be helpful to have that as part of the meeting packet. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want to discuss it. I didn't have a chance to tell folks, bring that back with you, or, even if it's just in the electronic version, just so folks have it to reference. All right, so I'm just going to put that that's tabled. So maybe what we'll do is have that as a reoccurring item as well, and if we have something to discuss, we will, and if we don't, we will simply move on to the next item, and we'll hold on to it as old business. But thank you for bringing that forward. Appreciate that. Okay. Speaking of tabling items, the NISP program update and the superintendent-elect training update were items that specifically Julie Miller was going to present on. She was unable to attend tonight because of the Knights of Excellence, correct?
She had a personal.
Oh, okay, sorry. But she had a prior engagement, could not be here. Are you able to speak on the SMAC recording for elementary school building?
Yeah, so, thank you for that. The chair of the building committee, members of the architectural firm, and Ms. Miller did a taping, if you will, of literally an update of the building project and what's going on and so on and so forth. And that took place last week, if I remember correctly, or the week before. It was the week before vacation, if I remember correctly. Whenever that was, because now I can't remember my weeks after
It's like
that.
3 snows ago.
Right, exactly, 3 snows ago. I wish I could have projected that snow, because I would have gone to a warm day for 12 days instead of the cold. So the idea is, we're trying to, it's kind of, we're in a lull right now in the project, which is what happens with a lot of projects. But Julie and I also have some thoughts about how to really get some other folks at the committee on board in order to get out there publicly a little bit more, especially as we get close to things like, breaking ground and all of that stuff. Once it starts to move down there and we start to have the pomp and circumstance, and MSBA comes out, that's really when the project like really starts and people have to start to see some things. So that's generally the idea of the taping of the show and so on and so forth. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you for bringing us up to speed on that. I know that this agenda was initially drafted with superintendent-elect in mind, but did you have any other items that you wanted to bring to our attention?
I just wanted to, we did it last night at town meeting, but, not everybody was there, and sometimes people watch school committee. I really just want to thank I call it the emergency management team of Stoughton. The collaboration that, I was out of state, as you know, and I was getting every text message, every phone call, and literally, Paul Jaffoon, our superintendent for Department of Public Works and Facilities, that was a heck of a storm we just got. And we could have opened up on Wednesday, believe it or not. It would have been hard, but we couldn't. We could have, but the moment the attendance around our area started to go, I was worried that we would have, literally our staff wouldn't be here because many of them couldn't get out.
Yeah.
We had 5 bus drivers that couldn't get here because their streets weren't plowed yet. So I think we made the right decision those 3 days. But it was the amount of communication, the teamwork. DPW was in our schools right from the start. They were there making sure that we were as open as possible. By Wednesday, we had sidewalks already completed. Some of them that we couldn't even complete last time got completed this time.
Yes, I want to thank
Yes.
everyone who was involved in getting the sidewalks plowed, because the previous storm, it took a long time to
Yep.
get them plowed out,
Yep.
and it was really appreciated by all the kids walking home.
So, I've been around for a long time, and as superintendent, it's been a while. I've called 2 days in a row, but I've never called 3 days in a row as superintendent over 17 years that I can recall. So, and really the only storms that I've dealt with was those great storms when the Patriots won Super Bowls and we were off on Monday and Tuesday. That wasn't actually a bad thing, I guess. But it's really, I want to publicly thank the working men and women of the town of Stoughton who really helped us. And then lastly, my team.
Absolutely.
My team, our team, I should say, of custodial and maintenance men and women who just put in a lot of time and effort, and we don't have the trucks to move 25 to 30 inches, so that's why we need the town. But they were working that storm as much as possible. They worked long hours. And then lastly, our director of facilities did not get sleep for 3 days. He really, really is worth every penny. He's a young guy, he's still learning, but he puts his passion into making sure that Stoughton Public Schools is doing well. So I want to thank all of those involved in supporting us on the town side and our own men and women who really got us up and going. We don't thank them enough. We always talk about scores and results. Well, the score and result for what they did was an A as far as I was concerned. They did great work. So thank you to them, and I mean that sincerely.
See what I mean? The world's greatest.
Right. Maybe that's what we just put, the world's greatest. Excellent, thank you so much. Okay, communications, just informational in your, not in your packet, but in front of you, in case anyone wanted documentation of what I received from MIAA. This is just informational. This is a middle school level waiver application. It by default goes to the school committee chair, but it is not within the purview of the school committee. So literally just saying the chair got this communication and you have a copy of it. So everyone knows what it was. The waiver was specifically to allow OMS eighth graders the opportunity to join the Stoughton High School girls gymnastics team, and the waiver is only in effect for the 2025-2026 school year. I think we can thank Frederick Richards for that, so. We might be seeing more of those, who knows? Any questions about the waiver application? Next, you also have an email from Select Board Member Deborah Roberts around the SEOC, which, if you remember, is the Stoughton Equal Opportunity Committee. We worked with them last year to create a bylaw that was approved in town meeting. The Attorney General did approve that bylaw, so it is now a permanent standing committee of the town, and the school committee gets to appoint 4 members to the SEOC. So the next steps are to advertise for the 4 open seats on the SEOC on behalf of the school committee, and then we would review the applicants and appoint 4 new members. It is recommended by Select Board Deborah Roberts that the advertisement happens in May, which is common practice for all the other town manager and select board appointments. And then the month of June, the appointments would occur where we would review applicants and letters of interest. And that's a common appointment date for all other boards, committees, and commissions. So I want to stop there and ask if there are any questions, any concerns, or any counter to this particular process. And it's nothing that we need to determine right now, but it is something that we'll need to figure out, how we want to review those. If we simply want to appoint a school committee member, we will have 1 member, possibly 2, but 1 member coming on board in April. So this might be, if the person is amenable, a nice way for them to start to get acclimated to the school committee without having to dive in deep on policy and budget and everything else Jillian does for us. Massachusetts Conflict of Interest Training, just a friendly reminder that your training is due. It's something that you need to complete within 30 days of becoming a public employee, and then every 2 years afterwards. And then you need to do the acknowledgement of the conflict of law summary every year. When you complete your training or acknowledgement, please forward the confirmation emails to Kathy in case we need to validate our compliance with state law.
I've done mine, I just keep forgetting to bring the certificate in.
Okay. Yep, if you can, or I believe you get an email confirmation as well, if you just want to forward that to Kathy
Okay.
for her records, that would be awesome. Any questions about the conflict of interest training? Please reach out to me if you have not received an email from the state around that. Okay. And then the 2025 report, the town creates an annual town report, which I believe is included in the May town meeting materials. I was asked to write something on behalf of the school committee to give the town an update on our activities, so I created this update. It was something that was very much done in the 11th hour. I was not aware this was a chair duty, so hopefully you are okay with what I wrote. And if you have any feedback for me, I would love it, because chances are pretty good I'll be doing this again next year. So if there's anything that's missing, or if you think it should be a lot shorter and just like 6 bullets, or whatever your feedback is, very open to feedback. So feel free to write directly on the copy if you like, provide it to me. But there you go, our year in the history books. And then finally, Pilgrim Area Collaborative update. Once again, in order for the collaborative to remain in compliance, we need to provide all of the board meeting summaries, bring them back to our respective school committees, and then share them. I have shared them. There's really not much to report on from the most recent committee, although it was a very impressive amount of policy that was discussed at one meeting and then approved in bulk the next meeting. It was a thing of beauty, I must say. So it was really interesting to see how they approached updating their policies. Any questions about anything that I have covered? Excellent. Financial update, warrants, Armando.
Include in the packets a list of warrants that were reviewed and approved.
Thank
For the
you.
record.
Any questions about the warrants? All right, let's take a look at the acceptance of minutes. If I can get to them, there they are. Any amendments to the minutes? All right, I'm not seeing any. Okay. Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the February 10th open meeting minutes as written?
So moved.
That was made by Armando. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second was made by Jillian. Motion has been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. So we have the next regular meeting of the school committee is March 10th. To be very frank, it was challenging to pull together an agenda for this meeting, especially on the tail of a break. We met, everybody was out for a week, and then we were meeting again, and nothing happened in that week. So we did what we could, and the storm kind of helped us in that regards. We had a little bit more meat to our meeting today than I was expecting, which is awesome, but we are in the same scenario for next week. So the superintendent and I recommend that we cancel our meeting for March the 10th, if you are all amenable. We did have a public hearing on school choice that was scheduled for March 24th in lieu of our meeting. We're now suggesting that that's not in lieu of, but that would happen first, like when we go into executive session, and then we would go into our regular meeting by then. We have, I believe, 2 presentations that are lined up, and we will also have an update on the budget, which we do not have for you tonight. So if that is amenable, since we're all here, I would love to have a vote to cancel our meeting for March 10th. Let's start there.
Would you need a motion?
Yes, I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to cancel our meeting on March 10th and move it to March 24th.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. So, made by Jen Sears. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Armando. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries 4-0. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That was done by Armando. Do I have a second?
Aye. Second.
That was Jen, not Jen, Jillian. Jillian is the second. I tried to be funny
Second
and
and
I still screwed that up. All right, roll call vote. It's time.
Aye.
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 The motion carries 4-0. Thank you all so much.